Hi everybody, how are you everybody today? Welcome once again to Wide Open Sports. I'm Israel Gutierrez, and today I'm very happy and I'm very excited because I have this great guest, and it's a guest that I've been following her a little bit on Instagram, a little bit on YouTube, and it's a girl that talks F1. Manena, welcome to Wide Open Sports. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Israel, for inviting me. I am doing great. And especially, I'm really excited because, well, for those of you that follow you or that follow me, know we're Mexican. So it's pretty interesting for us to be speaking in English on a collab with Spanish-speaking people. So yeah, this is pretty exciting.
Yes, well, as you like, for my followers or for Manena's followers, if you don't know, I live in Canada and I have a lot of friends that they've been asking me, hey, Israel, why you haven't done videos in English? We want to know what is happening, what you're saying. Now, today is going to be a good opportunity for everybody to have this video in English. And as Manena say, it's very weird because we are Mexicans and we want to do a video in English. So let's start with our video today. And I would like to start, Manena, asking you, like, well, not asking you, but if you can tell us who is Manena and a little bit about you. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to know that.
Well, I used to live in Canada when I was little too, actually.
Nice.
And then well, as we mentioned earlier, I am Mexican, and I started my Formula One channel not so long ago. It was actually during the pandemic because I used to have a fashion blog, and every single girl in life has a fashion blog. Doesn't matter who you meet. If you ask them what they do, they're gonna tell you they're bloggers and they blog about fashion or makeup. So this was way too wide, and I wanted to segment myself in something a little bit more unpredictable. And people normally don't tend to relate women that much to motorsports. And my favorite category is the Formula One, especially since I did my internship when the Formula One came back to Mexico. And
Nice.
That for me was like the tip of the iceberg that made me want to start getting myself more into it. And during the pandemic, I started watching so many movies of motorsports and Drive to Survive and all of that. So my mom was actually the one that gave me the idea. She was like, this is such a funny thing from you. Who would have thought that you would like something like this? Why don't you open a channel? And I was like, you know what? I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but you're right. And that's what I did.
That's pretty nice. That's nice, a nice way, right? And yeah, like everybody has different ways, right? How they start liking the racing, Formula One, etc. But that's very interesting that you did like an internship on that. So that's very cool and neat, right? Because a lot of people, like, I will tell you why I like racing just very quickly. I used to live in Mexico City, literally 5 minutes away from the track. I used to live there.
Oh.
So since when I was a kid, I used to hear the noises, and I used to go to the roof of my house and just listening. I was not even watching the race, but I was listening. It's very interesting, and that's very cool that you did that internship. That's so awesome. How many people would love to do that? And lucky you that you did it, right?
Yeah.
If you can tell me a little bit about that, because now you got my eye on that. Like if you can give us a little bit, what did you do, like what you did, or what was it like, that experience for you?
No, I mean, of course, what you said, the sound of the engine is what gives you goosebumps. That was one of the main reasons that also made me want to get into this. I had always been a fan of the Formula One because I consider myself an old soul. I love anything vintage. Old Hollywood, old Formula One. It's also glamorous and classic and very elegant. So that's why I started following the sport. I'm not a sporty person, but I had always wanted to follow, a glamorous sport.
Cool.
And that's when I found the Formula One. So I was studying communications, and my teacher told me, hey, you know what? Nobody knows this yet, but the Formula One is coming back to Mexico, and they're going to take 100 people from the university to help them
Oh, wow.
with their internships. I got selected,
Cool.
but the major I was studying was strategic communications. Therefore, I couldn't be a journalist
Okay.
in the Formula One. So I didn't meet the drivers. I basically did not watch the race, only the Formula 2 race.
Oh.
But I was in the organization area. So I learned a lot about how the Formula One is organized. And I had a lot of people under my command, let's say. And it was my first job as
Cool.
a boss or a leader, you know? So, and I was only like 21, 22 years old. And I had like 20 people under my command. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
because the one that was actually in charge of the area where I was decided to go to the grids and take care of the people there. So she was like, you know what, all of these people, you tell them what to do. I have to go deal with those people. But in reality, she didn't really do much. She was just watching the Formula One while getting paid while I was doing her job.
Oh, wow. That's not cool, huh?
I mean, I loved what I was doing, and it was such a
Cool.
great experience.
Tell me, we talk about it a little bit, right? That why we like the Formula One or the sports ball, and we kind of mentioned that we kind of get into it because of the noise of the cars, the engines. You told me a little bit about the glamour of the Formula One, everything that is involved of it. But what else kind of like get you on it? I know, what else was the thing that you were like, wow, I like this sport, I like the Formula One?
The competition. I mean, it's so tight. And just watching the drivers grow. As I mentioned earlier, I love fashion. So for me, you know, the suit is okay. They're all pretty much similar. But the helmets, like, I love how there's so much stories and so much history behind everything that represents the Formula One. You know, the teams, the drivers, how they got there. Not all of them come from the same backgrounds. And then, you know, the pandemic did this really special thing with the helmets in which they had to keep people coming back for more. Because normally they would always use the same helmet. And
Exactly.
here it's like every single race, we get a new one. And each time there was so much, you know, like story behind that. So for me, it involves a little bit about everything, you know, the competition, the stories of the drivers, of the teams, you know, like the backgrounds and the outfits and, you know, the sound, the glam, you know, it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. I'm not going to say I'm the girliest girl in the world, but this is definitely something that people don't relate me to. I remember when I started my channel, I told a lot of my guy friends, because obviously my girlfriends weren't going to follow me because they don't care about the Formula One.
Exactly.
So I started telling my guy friends, and they were like, do you even know about the Formula One? What are you going to talk about? What are you going to say? Is this even you? And I'm like, just follow me and you'll see.
And
you
you'll
know,
see.
I bet you I know even more than you do.
Oh, there you go. I hopefully now they're like.
I mean, not you, them.
I know. And hopefully now your friends, these guys, now they're like, wow, because as I say, right, like, and I haven't said it, but I comment in one of your videos, the way you express yourself, the way you comment about every single thing. And I can tell you, I know a lot of people who like Formula One, and not everybody has that ability, right, to express it like that nice, that well developed. I was like, wow, I was like, literally, I was like, oh my gosh, she's really good. Because I just want to share with everybody that the beginning you were more commenting or making like a little history of the Drive to Survive episodes,
Yes.
right? So that was kind of like how I saw you. But and then when I saw you like actually talking about what is happening in the Formula One world, I was like, wow, she's really, really, really good. I was like, wow, it's good. Like, and that's good because not many girls in Latin America trying to find somebody, and
That's
no, it's
true.
really
It's
hard.
only Giselle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But my point, what I was going, I think I went a little way too far. What I was trying to say is that now maybe your friends are like, wow, she knows.
Yeah, they now
right?
recommend me to other people. I got a message from a friend that I hadn't spoken to in a really long time, a guy friend, which I never told him about my channel. I only sent him, the request on Facebook to like my page. And I didn't even know he liked it. So then he sent me a message like, hey, I really like your channel. I always recommend it to my friends that I know that like the Formula One, because
Nice.
I'm kind of surprised that you know so much about it.
Oh, that's good. No, and congratulations. I'm gonna
Thank
do open these congratulations open to everybody. Because really, if somebody in my channel or my friends are they gonna see this in Canada or on the English speaking countries, follow her. But now let's move on with another question that I have for you, because I know you are a little more involved, maybe a little bit more or more than me for sure, with the women motorsports. I saw that you have I listened on Spotify, this very great interview that you did with Bea. That was a very good
Right.
chat. It was great. Listen it, everybody who is watching this video, listen to that interview. It's very, very good. And my question is like, where do you think the women is going? What's the future? What do you see in the future and the women on the motorsports? Because now it's getting big, and that's very good news. How do you see it?
Well, I think in a way, the Formula One is a very sexist sport.
Yes.
Thank God, the little women that were carrying the trophies and the stuff got banned.
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore, thankfully, because women were very much an object, and maybe I'm sounding very sexist myself by saying this, but I'm saying this for a reason. The moment that the Formula One organizers realized that women actually have a chance for competing in the Formula One with men, that's when they decide to create the W Series, which is basically the equivalent of the Formula One, but for women. So now that's going to make it even harder for women to compete in the Formula One, since now their goal is going to be first to get to the W Series, and then they're going to be way too old to even go to the Formula One. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit disappointing for me, because I don't really think women, at least not in the next decade, I don't think women are going to actually have a chance to compete in the Formula One.
That is very like as you say, disappointed, maybe a little bit sad, because we had two women like recently, Susie Wolf and Tatiana, that they were test drivers, right? Like Susie Wolf was with Williams and Tatiana was with Alfa Romeo, if I'm not wrong. Tatiana.
Her, I don't know, but I know Susie Wolf. And then right now, Maya Vug is for Ferrari, so that's good.
Yeah.
And she's also very young, so
cool.
Kudos to
That's
her.
Good. Yeah. So and as I was saying, that it was nice in a way, right? Like that we have these two women like trying, even that they were in the testing cars. It was, in a way, I'm sure for some people maybe it was like kind of shocking to see that, like, oh my God, why? But on the other side, I think it's good, right? Because I think we are in this time in life we are more equal. Like as before. Like, well, we are in a new millennium. There's the way life is going is very differently, and it was nice to see these two women literally in Formula One. Like they were there, and it was very cool about that. Anna, she raced on Le Mans in a team where it was only women, and I think they finished in 7th or 5th place, something like that. So that's cool. Like they can do it as well. Putting apart the men's sport and the women's sport, what is your expectations for the W Series? What do you think?
Well, I only recently started getting into it because, well, when I opened my channel of the Formula One, I do need a focus, you know, I want it to be very segmented, and it's only focused on the Formula One, but me, myself, I want to know more about the Formula 2, about W Series, you know, more about it.
Yes.
So, I mean, I really would love to see Carmen Jorda come back, you know, like racing for big teams. But I feel that, you know, the girls in W Series are very young.
Yeah.
Very, very young. So I don't really understand if it's like a passage for them to go on like a bigger category in the future, or if this is it. So I would definitely want to see older women competing and racing in W Series.
Yes, I was looking when I invite you to have this chat with me. And again, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. So when you say yes, I was like, I'm the same. I'm crazy, and I'm not just like, I'm gonna do it. I like to do a little investigation. I like to do my research. So I was searching, and that you say that point on the age. I think the oldest driver, I think is from South Africa. I don't know her name, but I think she's 29, and that's the oldest. And all the rest are like 23, 22,
18.
18. I was like, oh my God, this is kind of like, I mean, not crazy, but I was surprised to see that the oldest is 29.
Definitely.
Right?
And also because, well, I was watching the Fangio documentary this week, and what Alain Prost said was so true, because he said that, well, I think it was Nico Rosberg, the one that said this, that drivers before, back in the day, were so much older than the drivers nowadays because the cars were different. Now it's about reflexes, and it's about, you know, other things.
Yeah.
And in that, I agree. But I mean, a 30-year-old, somebody in their, like, below their mid 40s, I mean, they're still pretty capable of doing everything.
Yeah, it's insane.
So, I remember thinking, even in the Formula One, that I was like, why are Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso still here? But then I thought, no, you know what? Actually, more drivers should be their age.
Yeah.
But they're only hiring these young drivers to get younger spectators, and so that more Gen Zs and more millennials start watching the Formula One, because it's considered an old sport.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's all for marketing reasons, to make more money. In a way, the people that actually like the sport are not going to care if they're old or young. You know what I mean?
No, totally agree.
Do you want like a solid fan base, or do you want people that, ooh, it's Lando Norris, ooh, it's Mick Schumacher, oh, then I'm gonna watch it. And then 2 years later, when they stop caring about Mick, when they stop caring about Lando, then those people are gonna leave the Formula One, and then they're gonna start hiring younger drivers. So it's gonna be like a vicious cycle of the younger and younger and younger drivers, where there's so many veterans that deserve a seat in the Formula One.
And there is a point on that like history has tell us in the sport that as you say, right, there's the age when they are young, and I don't think they are mentally ready for that challenge.
No.
mentally.
Such
Maybe that, maybe.
no, and you're absolutely right, because it's such a demanding sport, and not only demanding, psychologically,
Yeah.
they need to know who they are as people, and they can't let, because that's what we were talking in Germán's video, how Jacques Leclerc is always punishing himself and calling himself stupid. I'm sorry, but have you ever heard Vettel or Ricciardo call themselves that? Never.
No.
I mean, it's too much pressure for them for being
Exactly.
so
And as what I was going for with that comment is like when they are like in the middle 20s is when they have this kind of like they are more mature and they are kind of understanding what are they doing, right? And that's a big example is Ricciardo, Checo Perez, Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, Vettel. Well, Vettel, he was one of the only ones that when he was young that he dominates the Formula One. Yeah. But there is like history has tell us that is how it happened. Ayrton Senna, the same. He was on his middle 20s, almost on his 30s when he was the king, right? So it's very hard for a young guy to take this big responsibility, like we saw lately with the Red Bull guys, the Max Verstappen teammates, that they just can't.
No.
Just can't. It's too much. It's too much. And they are very great drivers, but unfortunately, they don't have what it takes for that role.
Psychologically, yes.
But let's go to the next subject, and now let's go to our what we do in our channels, right? Formula One. Let's talk a little bit about it because I know that's what we do. That's what we talk about. I'm pretty sure your family only listen to you talking about Formula One.
Yes.
Same with mine. You see a little bit of my. You see my room a little bit. This whole Formula One, Formula One this, Formula One that. So let's talk about that because I think this is important, and that's the other reason that I invite you to be in this video tonight. And I know you talk about it a little bit with Germán, but I want the other people to talk. Which one is, if you have to choose a team between the 10 that you will be, forget about the driver, forget about history. If you have to say, if I ask you right now, Manena, which one is your favorite team? What will you say? Which one is your favorite team?
Ferrari.
Ferrari. And the second question, why is Ferrari?
I mean, it doesn't have to do with the history, but it's legendary. It's the most aspirational team. It's got the prettiest colors. I mean, everybody looks good in red. Am I right?
Super agree with you.
I mean, I just admire it so much because my reason is not only aspirational, it does have to do with the history. It's the oldest team in the Formula One. It's been the one that has achieved the most. It's won the most championships. It's won the most races. I mean, what is not to love about Ferrari? They're going through a rough patch. I mean,
everybody does.
Can all agree with that. But throughout the history, Ferrari has always gone through rough patches and they always recover. So I'm just waiting for that moment to come by.
Yeah, and I have very big hopes for them because I'm also a big Ferrari fan. Like even that I have Red Bull hats, Hamilton hats, t-shirts, blah, blah, blah. I think my team is being Ferrari for always. And I'm very excited. I was talking with Germán as well, that for 2022, I think, I don't know, I got the feeling that that's going to be the comeback for Ferrari with the new regulations, with everything new. I'm very hoping that it goes well for them because as you said, like you just said perfectly, it's a legendary team. And again, yes, totally right. Everybody looks great in red. And let me ask you this. And again, when you ask me, tell me the why, your favorite driver.
Carlos Sainz. Why? I don't know. I really like how perseverant he is, how determined he is, and how professional. he's from the only ones that joined very young that have always been very mature. And that's what I like about him. I feel he's also like an old soul. So I can really relate to him in all of those senses. But also, I didn't have a favorite driver. But every single time somebody would ask me, who's your favorite driver? I would say like 5 or 6. I would always say Carlos Sainz, Checo, obviously.
Yes.
Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Kevin Magnussen.
Oh,
I would always say the 5 of them, but they would always tell me like, no, you have to choose one. And at the moment I was like, no, I don't have to choose any. But then I thought, yes, like, who am I gonna root for? Once the competition is on, who do I actually want to win? So Carlos Sainz, I really like his style of driving because he's very strategic. He really plans his races. He doesn't just drive to drive. Because there's a lot of drivers, like, I'm not saying it's wrong, because you do have to drive through instinct, but like Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen, I feel that they're great overtakers and they're very aggressive in their way of driving, very fast, but they're not very strategic, you know? Mm-hmm. Their strategy is overtaking, but that's kind of luck also. You never know when you're going to be able to overtake somebody. And Carlos Sainz actually plans his races and knows his opponents. So he knows what to do where, how to get over through people. Yeah. Sometimes his car hasn't been the best, so I feel he hasn't been able to show his full potential. But yeah, I really, really like his style of driving.
Yeah, he's a very good driver, and I thought personally that he was like, I would say like the surprise of last season, because I think nobody expect nothing from him, and I think he showed a lot of mouths because, as you say, right, he knows what he's doing. He's not just sitting and behind the wheel and just go for it. I think he's how he prepares the races, even that he's in a lot of races, if you remember, he started in the back on 13, on 14. And because as you say, that is strategy that he has on his mind, put him on 5th, on 4th. And to me, it was very frustrating in Monza that I was like, hopefully, I was like, one more lap. Please give them one more lap, because I'm pretty sure one more lap he will pass Gasly like easily, and he will be able to win that race. So that was like, wow, he deserved it. And I really like what you said, that determination, because on the radio, they told him, you know what, take it easy, man. We have the points. It's good for the championship. And he just said, just let me win this race. Let me win this race. And I really like that. I was like, wow, that's good. I really like him. And a lot of people hasn't given that credit, that he's a very good driver. And it's very bad, because to me, I think he's one of the good ones. And hopefully Ferrari give them a good car. And we'll see.
I mean, so far, so good. At least technically the testing is going very well. But I did like that Pierre Gasly won in Monza, because I really like Pierre Gasly too. I was talking with somebody today that he's kind of like the young Ayrton Senna. It's really hard nowadays to see the full potential of any driver, because Mercedes's horsepower is so much higher than any other car. So it's obvious Lewis Hamilton is always going to win, which in a way that makes the Formula One a little bit boring. Yeah. I mean, look at the race, all the races where his tires went wrong or where he got COVID. Exciting things happen, like Monza, like Bahrain, you know? So, I mean, I'm a big fan and I admire him so much. But it's in the old Formula One, all the cars were exactly the same. Yeah. Now, all the cars are so different.
Yeah.
So different.
And unfortunately, that goes also as well with all the money gap. And some teams, as we know, right, like Mercedes, Ferrari, maybe Renault, that they have so much money, Red Bull, and they are able and they're allowed because they just follow the instructions, right? And maybe the FIA, they just, okay, this is your rules for the year, go for it. And they have the money to do it. But as one of my thinkings, or the way I think, is that unfortunately, that hasn't helped the sport at all. Like, it's been since 2014 that there is no competition. There was a couple of years, 17 and 18, where Ferrari was kind of close to them. And when 2016, when Rosberg won, but it's the same team. And it's been kind of like pretty much the same. And totally agree with you. When things happened to the Mercedes, that was the most exciting races on the season. Like when Checo won the race, that was because there was a mess in Mercedes. It was so messy. And unfortunately, and that's sad, that we are waiting for them to something to happen to them in order that we'll see a very exciting race, right? It's sad, but that's how it is. That's why I'm very hoping, and I'm very I got all my hopes on 2022. What is gonna happen? Like which team is gonna be the one who's gonna be like, okay, let's go, let's do it. And let's go to another question. I just have a couple of more, so we don't do this video too long, because I know you have kind of a busy agenda because something big is happening soon.
My birthday.
Her birthday. So everybody, happy birthday to Manena. By the way, when is your birthday? Next week or?
Wednesday, yes.
Wednesday, which is the 10th. Okay, there you go. So now everybody knows. Say happy birthday to Manena on her channel, on Instagram, on Wednesday the 10th. Okay, couple of more questions again, just so we don't make it too long. What is your expectations for this coming season?
Well, on my predictions video, I gave the World Championship to Max Verstappen. So he better win.
Interesting.
And I mean, the teams have built their cars so well, apparently, from what we've seen on testing this season. So I'm expecting much more surprises than on 2020.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I feel that Aston Martin has extremely big chances of getting a really good position by the end of the season, because they have Vettel, they have Lawrence Stroll's money, which is basically the only team that doesn't care to put all the money in the car.
Yeah, definitely.
And also because we saw how well Racing Point did previous season. So I think they're gonna be huge this 2021. So I have big expectations from Aston Martin, from Checo Perez, since it's the first time he's in like a top tier team.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are asking if Checo Perez has the potential to beat Max Verstappen. To be honest, right now, I would say I don't know, but because he's never been in a top tier team and he's already achieved so much. So maybe he does have the potential to beat Max. Who knows? I feel that, as we mentioned earlier, he had always been paired with very young drivers. So that was very hard for them psychologically, knowing that they were the second driver. But Checo comes here knowing that he's the second driver, but it's a little bit, I feel he's applying a little bit Charles Leclerc's technique when he joined Ferrari. He joined as a second driver knowing he was a second driver, but that didn't mean that he was willing to stay there. Charles Leclerc did everything he could to become the first driver until eventually a 4 times world champion became the second driver, you know?
Crazy, yeah.
So I feel that Checo Perez is highly competitive, highly aggressive, and he's not going to let Max Verstappen's favoritism get to him. He is going to do everything he can to become the first driver. So I have high expectations of Checo too, and I would say Mick Schumacher, but to be honest, not really. Because I mean, unless Haas has the same car they did on 2018, it's gonna be very hard for Mick to perform.
And as you say with Aston Martin, the same, right? Like, I think, because if we remember, there's almost no changes on the cars. I think it's gonna be pretty much the same momentum that they had last year. I think it's gonna keep happening this year, talking about the cars. And I think Aston Martin has like a very good opportunity, right, to show. I know like Vettel is gonna help them a lot in other things that they were not getting, right? Like, I don't know. I think it's like a win-win situation with Aston Martin having Vettel. I have a very high expectations on him, even that is not my favorite per se. But I know he's gonna help them a lot. Maybe it's gonna help them to do that step that they need to win, right? Because as you say, Lawrence Stroll, he's just putting everything because he wants to succeed in Formula One. About Checo Perez, which it was one of the last questions, but now that we are already talking, let's talk about Checo Perez. About Checo, me personally, I think he has everything. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go, because I don't know, like, we don't predict the future, it's just what we think. But I think he has the potential, he has the mentality to, as you say, to beat Verstappen. Verstappen is a very talented driver who is in that process to get in, as we talked before, in that mature and center of being a great driver, complete driver, mentally driving. And I think for Verstappen,
Max is very mature, to be honest.
No, not now. What I mean is, like, he's in that process. Maybe he has changed. Okay. Yeah, so he has changed, right? On the time when he started it, and we see now, he has changed. I don't know if like a lot. And as I said before in another video, and I'm gonna be very open, and I don't care. I don't like him. But I recognize that he's a very good driver. I cannot do that. I cannot argue that he's a great driver. But it's gonna take him like another 2 or 3 years, and maybe with having a mature driver, maybe it's gonna help him, right? But Checo, I think he has the things that Verstappen is missing to beat him. So Verstappen is missing a few things: mentality, to be more patient. I don't know. Checo already went through that. Checo already on his career in Formula One, he made those mistakes. He yelled at the radio. He smashed the car. He did all that. So he's in that process to be a top driver.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. In my predictions, I thought, well, I said that Checo will finish on third on the championship and Verstappen in second, because no matter what, he's the golden boy or Red Bull. And we have to kind of like understand that even that Checo has more than him. He's the golden boy, and that's how it is. But super agree with you. I think Checo is gonna go and fight for being the first driver in Red Bull. That's no doubt. And I think it's gonna be super interesting to see what happens this season. And I don't know you, but me, I'm just like, I'm watching again Drive to Survive. I'm watching movies, Formula One, because I wanted to start, because it's gonna be a very great year for Mexicans, for Latin Americans with Checo Perez. I think it's gonna be great, and I'm very happy and excited that I'm being part of it, right? To seeing this. I don't know how you feel about that. Like, how is your feeling to that you are in present time to see what we're seeing with Checo? Like, what does it make you feel?
I mean, the day that he won the race in Sakir, I started crying. So imagine how I felt when Red Bull announced his contract. A lot of people would say that they were sure that Checo was going to be there, but I wasn't so sure, because his career was basically going down a cliff. The moment that he realized that he had no team was when he actually started stepping up. I feel he was way too comfortable in Racing Point, knowing that he still had, 2 more years of contract and that he was already for 8 years with the team or something like that. So he thought, oh, they're going to renew the contract with me. That was until they rebranded the whole team and changed the name. So now, where was Racing Point? He was obviously going to lose his seat the moment that Lawrence Stroll saw that Vettel was, free. That for me was pretty obvious. So I did think for a moment that Checo was not going to have a seat in 2021. Thank God he stepped it up. He proved his full potential. And now that he knows that he can do it and that people believe in him and that he's, for the first time in his life, in a top tier team, I think he's going to be on fire this season.
Yeah.
So for me, it's incredible because yes, we saw the first victory in 50 years, the first Mexican victory in 50 years.
Exactly.
So who knows? Maybe we can actually see the first Mexican World Championship.
Wow, that would be like mind blowing. I'm just telling you, because and I talked about it before when Checo won the race in one of my videos, that for me, that I'm a little old. I don't want to say my age because but I've been watching racing for a long time, and to start, it was like kind of hard to imagine to see a Formula One Mexican driver. It was like in your wildest dreams. That was the opportunity. The comments with Adrian Fernandez, that maybe with the time, and he said that he has some conversations with teams, but it was nothing like clear. Then when Checo Perez did it, that was like the next step, right? And I was like, wow, this is great. I'm Mexican. Wow, in Formula One. Then the first podium, oh my God, it was like a mind blown. I was like, wow, he's Mexican. And I was so proud to yell at Checo Perez, yeah, let's go. And then until now, right? When he won the race, it's just like kind of like a dream, like something that you will never think. Like personally, again, because I've been watching the races for so long, when he won, I just want to share the same. I was yelling, I run all over the kitchen, the living room, I yell, I jump. When the national anthem was playing, I cried. It was like, because again, right, it was something that in my days we will never imagine that it will happen, and now that it's happening, so imagine, it's the greatest. And this season, I think more good things are gonna happen. I predicted that he's gonna win 5 races. Hopefully I'm right.
Let's hope.
Yeah, and I think it's a great time to be a Formula One fan, to be involved. Like it's great time even for us as starting with our YouTube channels, that we are witnessing these achievements of a Mexican driver. I think it's great. It's a great times, and I don't know about you, but personally, I'm very excited for the season.
Definitely.
For Checo, for the Formula One, for 2022. I've been saying this a lot in my videos. I'm very excited for 2022 because it's gonna be maybe a revolution, maybe it's gonna be changes, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good times. So Manena, I think we're gonna finish the video right here. And once again, I don't have enough words to thank you that you took the time to talk with us, with my friends that are gonna watch this video. I really, really appreciate it that you took this time. It was like a little bit on an hour or whatever, but thank you very much for being on the channel. I don't know, you wanna say something to goodbye? Maybe your people is gonna watch the video, our subscribers, your subscribers.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me again. I had a lovely time, and it's always nice when people share a little bit of different points of view to keep, the conversation spicy and flowing. Thank you to everybody that is watching and watched this video. And yeah, can't wait for 2021 Formula One season to start. Counting the days.
We're just around the corner. Now there's more announcements when more cars are gonna be present, the gears. So now we're close. It's that time. Don't forget, everybody, please, if you have the chance, follow Manena, A Girl Talks F1, on Instagram and YouTube. So follow her. Her content is great. The way she does it, the Instagram thing that she has going on, it's great. My girlfriend loves it. She's a big fan of Manena. She's like, wow, it's so great. Look what she posts. Look. So we saw. So you got a big fan, and please follow her, subscribe. Also, as well, for all the people who's watching this video, I would like thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And as you know, I just do a little changes on that I'm gonna do videos on Mondays, and I'm gonna do live videos every Thursday nights or Thursday morning. So everybody's more than welcome to join us on the conversation. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great life. Have a great week. And I hope to see you next time in Wide Open Sports. Take care. I will see you next time.
Bye.